Peace kings, peace queens. Back again with hour 6 of our book, The Isis Thesis. And I know I showed it. Want y'all to take a quick look at figure 15:6. Hour 6. In SI Hour 6, the middle register depicts the encapsulated sun god with a crew of 8 in his original boat. He is traveling the hidden path of the Amentet and paddling to the place of the body of Osiris. In both SI and RVI, the sun bark terminates in lotus flowers, suggesting the movement to the core of matter or lambda DNA. Surprisingly, drones are absent, suggesting the creation of forms or DNA. Recall that in hour 4, the sun god stops in the cavern, life of forms, suggesting the DNA foundation of the lambda genome, Osiris, on the host chromosome next to the lac Z gene. From right to left, the upper register contains 9 deities seated without thrones, 9 scepters, 10 through 18, or emblems of fertility representing 9 lambda replication forks, a reclining lion, Kai Him Hamet, at 19 with both the left and right eyes of Horus above, suggesting the full operation of the Eye of Horus, a seated goddess without throne at 20, a standing deity at 21, and the resolving god That Net Turu at 22, who signifies holiday junction resolution related to the excision of the prophet Osiris. Regarding the 9 scepters, which are at 10 through 18, the sun god informs us that their souls rise up in the Tuat on their scepters, indicating phage genesis. The upper register also contains 3 chambers with an opening under the roof through which a serpent, which stands on its tail outside, belches fire. The first chamber at 23 contains the image of Ra in the form of the hind quarters of a lion. The second chamber at 24 contains an image of Ra in the form of a hawk wing. The third chamber at 25 represents Ra in the form of a human head. These 3 chambers may indicate a codon or section of DNA made of 3 nucleotides that either code for a particular amino acid or serves the purpose of starting protein synthesis. But more likely, the chambers represent the 3 promoters of the phage lambda. The human head chamber signifies the PL promoter, the hawk wing signifies the PR promoter, and the headless lion signifies the CI or PRM, which is the promoter for repressor maintenance. The headlessness of the lion also indicates the tameness of the reclining lion, Kai Hemp Hamet. 2 of these lambda promoters allow transcription of lytic genes or lytic genes, whereas the PRM allows transcription of a repressor protein that can block all lytic genes. However, the repressor protein cannot block its own promoter, so the cell continues to synthesize a small quantity of repressor protein. The chamber with the headless lion at 23 indicates the promoter synthesizing small amounts of repressor protein during the lytic cycle, so we could say that the lion has been tamed. More support for this view is found in the tomb of RVI. The text in RVI identifies the reclining lion in the upper register as the bull of roaring, and the goddess at 20 next to it as Isis the weaver. The name of the lion, along with the headless chamber lion at 23, confirms the ascendancy of the lunar bull, or the full function of the Eye of Horus. The idea that the Dim Demet reference in the Budge translation of the Kahim Hamet is now of Horus, suggesting the taming of the lion or CI protein due to crow protein or Horus ascendancy. The RVI text referring to the three chambers state, the darkness on the earth is lighted up. He in the flesh rejoices. The head of he who has reunited his members speak. The name of the human head chamber is the castle which hides Seth. The heart wing chamber, PR, is the castle of the corridor which carries the fight. The headless lion chamber, or the PRM, is the castle of Dim Demet of Horus. Also, the coffin text state a castle destroys another castle, a reference to the castle of the moon. And this is at coffin text 1030 and 31. But in all, that symbolizes phage production, dominating over the castle of the mace, which is Seth. One can compare this to the idea of the solar lion no longer tearing out the throat of the lunar bull. So the full function of the Eye of Horus, that is, the lambda genome, is restored and the lion is tamed. The sun god travels through the middle register toward the oval of the five-headed serpent of many faces at 19, within which is the god of Fu, with the beetle Khepera at his head. The name of the many faces seems appropriate for the lambda CI repressor protein of 5 alpha helices, which is represented here. As mentioned, Rec A protein in its second form as a protease destroys the monster repressor protein Lex A, which is a pappus that controls a number of operons. Rec A also facilitates the cleavage of the phage repressor, maintaining the lysogenic state, such as the lambda CI repressor. By binding to the OR and OL operator sequence, the lambda CI repressor prevents the lytic pathway and maintains lysogeny. The repressor is a dimer of 5 alpha helices, depicted by the 5-headed serpent containing the flesh of Osiris. The SI text indicates that the figure inside will enjoy the royal state of the receiving crowns, offering the power over souls, and the pappus will be hacked to pieces. But put simply, Osiris rises with the prophet Isis, thanks to the Rec A protein. The text further indicates that the serpent of the many faces will rise up with the image journey to the west and travel to Duat. It is Ra's voice that makes Osiris and the serpent advance. Ra's voice, of course, is the word or DNA instructions. And the text in the border above the upper register confirms that if an exact representation is made, that is, copying or replicating, then one shall partake of the offerings to Osiris. The five-headed serpent easily represents the 5-alpha helix DNA binding lambda CI repressor protein, regulating phage gene expression in the lysogenic state by allowing the phage to reside in the chromosome of the host bacterium. Thus, the text states that the pappus, that is, the LEX A repressor protein, will be hacked up. This inactivates the lambda CI repressor, so the prophets will rise to initiate stage 2 rolling circle replication, signified by Osiris bent backwards in a circle. The cleavage of LEX A repressor protein also inactivates the LAC repressor protein, so lactose nutrient is available. The middle register shows Thoth at number 1, who was present before the bark. And we can take a look at figure 15.18 because it's telling us to do that right now. And we're going to take a look at that. Please screenshot. Indicating replication in the RNA polymerase. Recall that in hour 3, both a man and a woman each brought forth 2 pupils of the eye of Horus. Now, we only have a female figure at number 2, holding 2 pupils of the eye of Horus, suggesting the dominance of lactose metabolism and the transcription under control of the right arm or eye, rather than transcription from the left eye, or the conspiracy of Seth or CI producing the human creation. Next are 16 mummified forms of Osiris, 4 wearing crowns of the South or Upper Egypt, which is through 3 through 6, 4 bearded, which is 7 through 10, and 4 wearing crowns of the North or Lower Egypt at 11 through 14, and 4 more bearded at 15 through 18, followed by the 5-headed serpent, indicating the impending excision of the prophet and rolling circle replication. In the lower register, the huge serpent Am-Kahu, with 4 children of Horus at number 4, coming to being from its foes, represent the concatemer of phage DNA that is cleaved into unit length DNA molecules, as represented by the 9 Iraq shortened serpents at number 6. Transcription from both promoters initially produced short transcriptions only, as depicted by these short serpents, which were obviously cleaved by the 9 axes in hour 5 that are related to the 9 scepters or emblems of fertility in the hour's upper register. 9 is a significant number signifying the great Ened and possibly idea of Mason, quirk and anti-quirks, basically, that occur in families of 9 for each combination of spin and orbital angular momentum. Rolling circle replication is beginning, for Osiris will travel to Duat. The goddess in the upper and lower registers, which are 2 through 7, 9, and 20, and the lower register at 3 signifies forms of the goddess of Isis or lactose as the nutrient medium for lytic growth. In SI hour 6 are several references to joining and uniting the 16 middle register deities, receive their royal state, and join themselves to your secret things with your crowns. The gods of the field unite themselves to the sun god's provision, passing by deities in the following of the scarab, who master the red crowns, left eye, in the sun god's state. Let me unite myself to my bodies. He then urges the 4 gods at number 5, the 9 serpents at number 6, or wanderers of the or wanderers of hidden flesh in the lower registers to unite ye yourselves to your flesh. Put simply, chemical processing involving molecular bonding, use of the lactose growth medium, and the excision of the prophets are active. Text from Ramesses VI. The text of the middle register states that Ra rose close to the body of Osiris and lands at each castle containing the image of Osiris. In each word, he transcribes genes at Lambda 3 promoter sites. The presence of the kings of Upper Egypt at 3 through 6 with their crowns, and kings of Lower Egypt 11 through 14 with their crowns again suggests the full operation of the Lambda genome under Crow control. The text above the five-headed serpent indicates the image within the body of Khepri is his own flesh with many faces guarding him. Another reference to the lambda CI repressor protein that maintains lysogeny and is also signified by Seth. The text in the lower register describes the gods of the netherworld as those following the mistress of the netherworld, who is Isis. These gods are described as having shining heads whose bodies stand upright, a fair description of Phage Lambda. The text continues saying, "May your heads live, may your hearts breathe, your darkness be illumined," suggesting the initiation of lithic rolling circle replication and phage production. The text then identifies the 9 short-standing serpents at number 6 as symbols of the great Ened, which we can easily identify with the names of the 9 axes in hour 5. Each short serpent has a knife at its base, symbolic of the electrostatic force and protein folding. The god facing the 9 serpent symbols, which is not shown in the Seti, the first figure, at 15.19, is called the Abyss, suggesting the chemical furnace of the Duat. Okay, figure 15.19. Please screenshot. All right, hour 6 matrix. All right, y'all. I'm gonna cut this off here and just make another part. Okay, so when we come back, we'll do hour 7. I'll get that done today too. Peace kings, peace queens.